Right, module three, tracking. Tracking metrics, numbers. You need to know your numbers, guys. Super important. And I'm only saying this from experience. If I had to start from zero, I would definitely, I would definitely get my numbers like right and dialed in from the jump. Every business owner, everyone that I listen to, because I'm far from perfect, and I still know I need to improve on a lot of things with the business, because I'm not even at 100, 200k a month, and a lot of them say to me, your numbers. You just need to know numbers. Business is a numbers game. You need to know your metrics. You need to know what's doing well. You need to know how much does it cost you to acquire a new client. I think that's probably the most important thing. If you know that number, and then making money ultimately becomes very, very simple. But if you don't know, okay, I need to put $1,000 in to get 10,000 out. If you don't know that number, you're just going to be second guessing. And right now, I know roughly out of every, I would say, 5,000 people I message, I can get 2 to 3 clients. So those are my those are my personal numbers. Once you know yours, I mean, life will be a lot more simple. And so, in terms of the metrics I specifically track on LinkedIn, because remember, this is all LinkedIn. This training, this module is meant to help you specifically on LinkedIn and how to book meetings on LinkedIn. There's a few things I track. You don't need to be as detailed as this, but the main things you need to track are let me actually read these out for you, and then if you don't want to be as like specific as this, I'll just give you the main things that you need to track. So messages sent, obviously how many people um, you're sending messages to. Positive replies, so how many people actually reply positively. Booked calls, so how many people obviously book a call in your calendar. Calls showed, how many people actually show up for the call. Qualified calls, so let's just say you book 10 calls and only like 6 were qualified. Deals closed, how many deals you actually close, and then the positive reply rate, like the percentage, the call booked rate, the show up rate, and the leads converted rate. And so these are the main metrics that I've personally really started to track to a T, just so I know, okay, how many people do I need to reach out to sign one client? Because once you know that, then life just becomes a lot more easier, like I explained. And so I'm about to share with you a few different spreadsheets. Like I said, they're all going to be in the free community. So if you haven't, if you just come across this video, join the community, and you can have all these spreadsheets. You can have every little thing. I'm giving everything away for free, and it's going to make life a lot easier. So I created this spreadsheet. Well, I actually didn't create the spreadsheet. My virtual assistant created the spreadsheet, and that's what I mean about leveraging a VA, just because she actually created the spreadsheet for me, and she came to me as an appointment setter, and now she's helping me create spreadsheets, etc. So I'm going to be fully transparent and give you my own personal numbers in terms of what I've actually done so far this year. And so I've tracked everything, and so the numbers we want to hit. So a positive reply rate, we want a minimum of 6%, which basically means out of 100, and you want to test out of 100 messages. So testing, you kind of want to do anything from a minimum of 100. You can go all the way to 500. It really depends, or 1,000 or 2,000. I like to test out of every 100 to 500 messages. So out of every 100 people that you reach out to, you want a positive reply rate of about 6%. So out of 100 people, you want about 6 people to reply positively. Obviously, the more the better, but if you're getting a minimum of 6%, I know you're thinking, what, only 6 people to reply positively? Well, yes, this is part of outbound. You're not going to get, you might get 20, 30, 40 people reply positively, but realistically, majority of people watching this, you're only going to get 5, 6, 7 people reply positive. You might even get 1 or 2, and that's just the reality of the situation when it comes to cold outbound and outreach. And so that's that. In terms of booking rate, basically means how many bookings are you actually like converting. Out of 100 people, you want basically a 2% booking rate. So you want 2 people to book out of every 100 messages you send. Lead converted, 1%. So out of 100 people, if one becomes a client, happy days. Obviously, your LTV is lifetime value. So if your lifetime value is $7,000 or $5,000, then you want to put it in there. So show up rate, you want a minimum of 70%. If you have an online business, you kind of want 70% is like standard industry, like numbers, etc. Anything low, then you definitely need to look into the leads? Are you making sure you sending them reminders, etc.? So that's the minimum you want to hit. A sales conversion minimum of 25%. So for every 10 people you speak to, you're closing at 25%. Very simple. And then in terms of, so you're closing 2-3 deals out of every 10 people you reach out to. Those are good numbers. If you're closing at 40-50%, you're probably charging too little. You need to increase the price until it gets back down to 25-30%. I mean, cancellation rate 20% standard. So this is one spreadsheet, and so these are literally my numbers. I'm gonna be fully transparent and show you my numbers so far this year. And so messages sent, I sent 19,624. And you're probably thinking, what? How many messages? Like all on LinkedIn? Well, yeah, literally all on LinkedIn in the month of January. I do have a big team now. We're scaling, so I have 6 setters, and everyone's sending a couple hundred messages a day. So we're able to rank up on the volume. If you're just starting out, that's fine. Do it yourself. Hire one setter, and then the most. And then once you're hitting these KPIs and you're hitting these numbers, you can always leverage more virtual assistances. Get some LinkedIn accounts through friends, family, and start doing more outreach to just increase the volume to essentially make you more money. So positive replies was only 145%. 145, which is probably not where I want it to be, but I mean it still got me six clients at the end of the day, and so that could have probably been a little bit better. So I might need to tweak my initial message. So booked calls was 55, which is pretty solid. So in 1 month I booked 55 calls, no ads, no nothing like that, and plus my virtual assistances, because they work with me full time, I pay them a monthly salary. But a lot of you watching this, you can pay them on a commission only basis. Now I'm going to explain to you how to hire, train, manage in further modules in the program. And so calls showed. So I had a good show up rate of 89%, as you can see here. So 49 people showed up for the call, and I'm going to go into how to make sure people show up in later modules. But yeah, that's pretty good numbers. Qualified calls. So 47 out of 55 calls were qualified. Those are the numbers you want to hit. They're really good numbers. Majority of people qualified. We make sure they're super good fits to potentially work with. And then out of 55 calls, 49 show up. I closed 6 deals, which is not too bad. It's definitely not too bad. Those are the numbers. Not everyone's going to want to work with you. I charge quite a lot too. A lot of these actually came cold, and they didn't actually know a lot about me too. So the fact that I converted them, which was awesome. And so these are just like the percentage rates of what I've just mentioned here. And so this is the way to do it. You can make a copy. As you can see here, I've got my numbers for February, so I've signed 3 clients already, over 7,000 messages, and you can literally use the same. And so every month you can just see if you're improving and getting better. So for instance, this month already, as you can see that I'm improving a little bit in some aspects, but some aspects I definitely need work on, because I'm not perfect, and yeah, you're not learning from an expert. You're learning from some guy that just managed to figure out meetings, how to book meetings on LinkedIn, and he's just trying to help other people too. But I'm far from perfect. And so this is another spreadsheet. This spreadsheet was not mine. I got this from another program, so you can't give me credit for this. But I've definitely used it, and it's really helped me in terms of booking meetings. And so it's very easy to use. These spreadsheets are all going to be in the free community, so join it if you haven't. And let's just go over the metrics. So media seen rate, positive reply rate, candidate sent rate, appointment booking rate. Media seen rate basically means out of 100 people you message, you want at least 60 people seeing your message, or else your messaging's not really dialed in. You definitely work on that. In order for you to see the message on LinkedIn, let me share with you an example of what that actually means. So if you go into your inbox now, let's just say, so this guy's about to do my landing page. I'm about to send him $150, and as you can see here, he's seen my message. So that's an example of that. That's literally what it means. Let's go back to the spreadsheet. And so you want a minimum of 60 people seeing your message. In terms of positive reply rate, like mentioned here, anything from 4 to 6%, even 4% is kind of good. So like that's not too bad numbers that you want to be hitting. So you want a minimum of anything from 4 to 6. Calendar sent rate, which basically means out of 100 people, you want to send at least 2 people your calendar, and then Out of that, you want an appointment booking rate of 1%. So out of every 50, 100 messages, you book one meeting. So you know now, okay, in order for me to sign one client, if I'm closed at 25%, I need to reach out to like 500 people. And like I said, once you've done that, you know, life becomes a lot more easier because you know your numbers and you know when you're basically about to make money. And so in terms of this spreadsheet, it's very, very simple. You don't want to touch these numbers. These numbers change automatically, so don't want to touch this. What you want to do, every single person you reach out to, you want to put them in here. So you're going to put their name, their profiling, the date, and tracked. And so let's just give an example now. Let me just use an example. So let's just say I want to target marketing agencies. And so I'll click see all people, and then I can start like connecting with all these people. And so before I would send a connection message. Okay, my amount of limits. So let's just say that went through. Once I've finished connecting, I'll take his URL. I'll click copy, and this is long, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is long. You need to do it. This is just the work you need to do. And then once you've got a budget, or once you've got some money to play with, you can then outsource this to a virtual assistant. But you need to know how many people you're reaching out to. You need to know how many people are booking on your calendar. You need to know how many people you send them your calendar link to. You need to know how many people are replying positively, etc. So it's super important. So we put the date. The date is the 16th of February 2025. And then we want to click tracked, which means yes. As you can see, that number changes. And then we want to send our free follow-ups. We want to send our free follow-ups. Any notes after the third follow-up, we just keep it moving. So that's what you want to do. If they're not interested, you can highlight them in red, or you can just cross. It's very simple. So I'll just highlight in red in this example, and then that's that. So that's column number one. Very, very simple. And let's just say you reach out to 20, 30, 40, 50 people, and 5 people reply positively. We then take them into this column here. I remember media seen as if they've seen the message or not too, so make sure you're tracking this. If I click yes, as you can see, these numbers change, and then you can sort of see if you're in KPI or not. And so name engage. So let's just say, like I mentioned, reach out to 20, 30, 40 people, and 5 people reply positively. We then take them to the next stage of the spreadsheet. Put the name again, the profile, and the date. So for instance, let's just say we reached out to people on Sunday, which is the day I'm recording this, and they replied positively on a Monday. We put the date, and then we put tracked yes. As you can see, these numbers start to change too. And then we want to do our follow-ups, our 7 follow-ups, and just click. So you can actually just copy and paste this, and you can use this also. And just so you know, okay, I've sent my first follow-up, yes. I sent my second follow-up, yes, etc. All the way to 7, and then if they don't apply for the 7th, you can basically just not give up, but move on to the next person. And so that's that. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing. So let's just say they've replied positively and they're open to a conversation. So if they're open to a conversation and you've sent them your calendar link, so it's okay, sounds good, and then you'll be like, okay, great. Why don't we do this? I'll send you my calendar link, book a call, and we can have a conversation. So you've sent them your calendar link. You want to put them in here. So let's just say 20 people you pitch here, and 5 people say, yes, I'm interested, and then cool. You send them your calendar link to book a call. You put their name, the profiling, the date, tracked yes, and then you want to do the follow-ups. And then that's this column here. So let me explain again, because I know a lot of people get confused by this particular part. This is if they reply positively to the conversation. Out of 20 people that reply positively, 3 people are open to a conversation. We put them in here. We put them in here, send the calendar link, they're interested. And then this last column is if they've actually booked the call, and if it's confirmed on your calendar. And that's when we want to put them in here. So these 2 sections are different. Just remember, if you need to listen to this again, listen this to again. Super important. And then you can sort of see, okay, out of 100 people I message, 5 people reply positively, 3 people I send my calendar link to, 1 person booked a call. Okay, great. So I know now I need to just reach out to another 100 people to get 2 calls, 3 calls, 4 calls. And then over time, you'll improve your messaging, you'll improve your lead qualification. And then that could even get out of 100 people I message, you book 5 calls. And that's how you just sort of know your numbers, and you can sort of see if you're doing well or not. So this is the spreadsheet. I personally don't use this spreadsheet anymore. I've created my own, but I know a lot of people like the spreadsheet, so that's why I've explained you how to do this. There's a lot more quicker way doing this. I don't necessarily believe, but you don't necessarily have to write everyone's name and profile. I only care about people that are replying positively. So I only care if I'm reaching out to 600 people and 10 people reply positively. That's who I want to track. And so, why is that thumbs up there? So let's just go back into this spreadsheet. So this is a spreadsheet that my VA created. I'm going to explain to you like how it looks. And so we'll put the day, the date, messages sent, positive replies, and then calls booked. And so on Wednesday, 1st of January 2025, message sent 00. Obviously, everyone was off because it was the first day of the year, second day of the year. And then third day of the year, we got straight back on it. So 1,000 messages sent, 12 positive replies, 6 booked calls. And that's all I care about. And then if they reply positively, we put them in here. If they book a call, we put them in here. And obviously, if they get sold, we put them in here. And so this is the spreadsheet I've personally been using. Like I said, you can have it all for free. Just join the community and it'll be there. And if you have any questions regarding this, we can help you and get into the details. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is how you track, and this is how you get really good at it. But you're not going to get really good at it if you don't start from somewhere. So if it's a bit overwhelming, it's okay. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed when it comes to all these spreadsheets and stuff, but you kind of need to know your numbers. You need to know, what are you putting in to get out? It's all about leverage. The little I put in to get a lot out. And once you know these numbers, you'll be able to scale in no time. But this is probably one of the most important videos in the training, just because I could share with you how to reach out to people, how to get them on your calendar. But if you don't know the numbers, if you don't know like how many people I need to reach out to sign client, you're going to be very confused, and you're just going to become like, okay, I'm just second guessing all the time and not actually understanding, what I need to do in order to sign and close a client. So that's it for the video. I'll see you in the next one. Make a copy, you start using these spreadsheets, and get to work. Take care.